On today's episode of the Heating Up podcast, we are in the throes of the NBA playoffs. We got a little bit of baseball to talk. Premier League is coming to a close, and it's exciting as ever. And then the NFL draft is finally upon us. NFL never leaves, but now we finally get to, feels like the real league year is officially starting. And then we're going to stay hot with Heat Check. We just can't lose. We cannot lose as a team. I got to love it. So here we go.
Hello, friends. I'm Jim Nance, and I'll welcome you to a tradition unlike any other.
He's heating up!
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!
He's on fire! Cristiano Ronaldo! Sensational! Boom shakalaka!
You believe in miracles? Yes!
There it goes! See ya!
He's heating up!
Trying to get open, fires away!
Bang! It's over! The Bulls win at the buzzer!
God, that bang gets me going. We're coming from a world of a double bang recently, which we'll get into a little later, but that's just the greatest theme song of all time. But welcome to episode 49 of the Play Your Yards Right. Excuse me, the Heating Up podcast. Little throwback for the people. We got the full team is finally back together. It feels good. It's like sitting into an old pair of shoes. Mike, Sarah, it's a pleasure to be all together again.
Thrilled to be back.
Yeah, hey, I was actually listening over the last podcast, and I feel like
great episode, right?
Yeah,
great episode.
I feel like some derogatory comments were made, and they were basically taking advantage because I wasn't available, and I would like to talk about it.
Are you referring to the derogatory comments? Are you referring to what all of the people were thinking at the Masters when they walk around and they saw a minority, or no?
I think your take on the Masters is strictly based off of the fact that you're just learning more about the Masters, because they have not changed a single thing about what they do at Augusta in the entire time. But I guess what we need to do, Sasha, is just get Jim Nance off of the broadcast, because he is an elitist pig, and we don't need people like that anymore. If you see him on the street, it's on site. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think I could take Jim Nance. I think he's old enough where I feel comfortable saying that. I also feel entirely comfortable that we are nowhere near the same social circles, so I feel like neither will we ever run into each other, but if we do, sure. Jim, you and me, it's on.
Well, I'll say you'll never run into him at the Masters after those comments.
Yeah, they are listening. They don't miss an opportunity to exclude people. And I think I did preface it by saying, if they did invite me, I would be thrilled to go.
Of course you would. And
yeah,
you would
I'm not going to.
You would eat that pimento cheese, and you would gobble it down and be like, "Oh, this is so delicious here on the night." No. Yeah, yes, you would. Yes, you would.
I would eat one. It's the same thing with the Guinness in Ireland. The Guinness is so much better.
Are you going to go on about that? Oh my God!
It's not better. It's the same. It's the same Guinness. It's just that they care about pouring it. It's not that cheese sandwich is good. It's just, what's great is being at a beautiful golf course that's really hard to get into. You feel like you've accomplished something. Is a $2 pimento cheese sandwich good? It's not. It's just you're in the environment and it's fun.
Do you the amount of work that they go into to make that course so pristine, and everything that they do in terms of the landscape and the environment? What is wrong with just admitting that there's something so beautiful out there that like Augusta? What is wrong with that? How?
There's nothing wrong with it being exceptional. It's the level of pretentiousness that goes along with it. It's this elitist, we don't let anybody out. We only sell this stuff here, and we're closed all this other times, and we don't let anybody else do it. It's all right, stop sniffing your own ass. I get that it's great, but how much everybody else sucks it off makes me like it less.
But isn't it cool? I think there are some things in life that it's amazing to have, it's almost you fantasize about. Not everything needs to be available to everybody at all times. There are some things that I feel like it's cool that they're guarded, that you can't get into. I'm sure you can go and tour the White House, but I bet you there's parts of the White House that you're not allowed to go into the Lincoln bedroom after 3 p.m. because Joe Biden's probably taking a nap.
You stunned him.
That's it. I think I win. Did you miss me there?
I just got part of Lincoln's bedroom. I'm sorry. My internet must be terrible. I restarted before this and everything.
I said you can't go into the Lincoln bedroom after 3 p.m., and partially because Joe Biden's probably taking a nap.
Actually, 3 p.m. is the only time he's awake. But I see what you're saying. I get it. But it's like I feel like I've taken a turn in my life where I used to, if somebody orders their steak medium well, I'd have this upturned nose of, who do you think you are? Mm-hmm. But now I feel like I've gotten a little bit older. I'm like, you know what? I'm sure you tell this to Eddie. I don't really want to yuck your yum. It's like, if this makes you happy, do it. But it's all this like, no, this is the way to do it. This is the proper way to do it. It's like, shut up.
You were just in England. How was there any sort of proper etiquette to be followed with your high tea that you did with your wife?
Yep, and I actually took my it was very, very uncomfortable, and I did actually pinch one of the male waiters right in the ass just to scare him, just to keep him on his toes.
Listen, I think some level of exclusivity and lore and stuff is amazing. I would compare, and I hope the Masters don't get offended, I would compare the experience of going there, which only from what I've heard, to comparable to that of like going to Disney, like where every detail is thought through. And like, while Disney's swarmed with a bunch of crazy people, the actual, like the staff and every detail, there's not a point missed, and it's all about the experience. And I would say that that's what Augusta's doing, except it doesn't let throngs of people who would ultimately come in there and trash it in there. I think some things should be left to people who are, willing to play the games and play by their rules. Not everything needs to be a free-for-all.
I get that.
I get that. Phoenix.
Yeah, I get that. I get that totally. And it almost is. It's the complete opposite of what the waste management has turned into. It's like these both things have gone so much farther on the opposite sides of that bell curve, where it's now, what used to be kind of a fun, secretive thing was like, everybody goes and gets shit-faced at the waste management. Now it's like the opposite of like, it's just impossible. Everybody wants to go to the Masters, and it's completely impossible. And they're building a compound that's going to be safer. They're putting an iron dome in like what they have in Israel to make sure that like a camera can't get within 50 miles of it. So it's just like, I think the whole thing is a little ridiculous. I'd love to be there. I'm sure it's gorgeous. It's just that I guess I don't mind as much like them having that decorum. And I don't, I respect the fact that they keep it the way that it is, and they're very, very specific about it. I think my biggest issue is with the people that will never go. It's the same. It's the guy that like just like started making a little bit of money and like just went and got a car he can't afford, that goes and golfs and wears the Tiger red and black. And they're like, oh man, Augusta, dude, it's the greatest place in the world. It's like, shut up, dude. You don't know anything. You're never going to be allowed there. You're literally not. You're going to have to turn that car in 8 months because you can't afford it. Shut up.
Okay.
I think it turns out I hate a guy. I think there's a guy I hate that I'm taking it out on the Masters.
Somebody really gave you like a diatribe on a golf course about Augusta, and you've taken it out on the entire club itself. All
turns
I want to say,
I like to be inflammatory.
If the chairman's listening to me, you've heard the way I've defended you. My name is Mike Blazel. I will be submitting my name for the lottery. I will not be inviting Sasha, who obviously does not respect your time-honored course, and I'd like to be bumped to the front of the list.
Hey, see, listen, you're playing chess. You're playing checkers. I'm playing chess. He's going to hear what we're saying, and he's going to want to bump me right to the front. He's going to prove me wrong.
Oh, he's going to give you a personal. You're going to get to play in the Masters.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is what you think. Let me show you how great it is. I'm playing 3D chess here, baby.
You're teeing off with Xander Schauffele. Good luck.
Yeah. The only rule to teeing off with Xander Schauffele is being able to spell his name correctly. If you do that, you're right. You're in.
Oh, well, then I'm out. Damn it. All right, that's it. I had to get that off. I was yelling in my car, and you're like, I'm sure Mike's not going to like this, and I was like, oh, fuck you.
I had to get the swings off. So, Sarah, where do you stand? How do you feel about everything? You think we hashed that out? Are we going to be able to get past this?
I think it was a little rocky to start. I was a little nervous going into this. I'm going to go ahead and say I can see both sides of this argument here. I like the passion Mike's bringing. Sasha, I like the counterpoints you're bringing as well. So I think ultimately, though, we all want to go to the Masters here. We do.
Yeah.
So I think we'll clean it up. No more negativity here, but we're not going to break up the podcast over this. Let's remember that we're probably not all going to go to the Masters at some point. So in the end, or at any point. So in the end, does this really all matter?
Probably. Oh man, if you guys both end up getting to go and I get the anti-invite, I will be furious.
What if you got like accepted, you won the lottery, and then you received a letter?
Yeah,
and it was like due to your comments. I would just be like, oh, the Masters is listening to our podcast.
Yeah,
let's go.
Maybe we win either way here. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we just getting in the headlines. We're doing the right things. But now that we're past that, I feel like we're better people. You know, we've found the conflict and we've resolved it. Premier League, Tottenham, off week, nice and calm. But everything else in the Premier League is just absolutely crumbling. Good teams are playing terribly. Terrible teams are playing incredible. Liverpool just lost just about an hour ago as the time we're recording this to their crosstown rivals, Everton. It makes me very nervous for our game against Arsenal because Arsenal is the only good team that continues to just be completely dominant. My hopes are not very high, but as we get closer to game time, I'm sure I will be all in because I'm already getting anxious just thinking about it. But basically the last 2 weeks being completely upside down. It's near the end of the season. It's there's only a few spots and a few things that people are really still fighting for. But all I keep thinking about at the end of these seasons is that we need to bring relegation to American sports. And obviously these, billionaire owners would never, ever go for possibly losing a ton of money. But it just makes, it makes every game so much more exciting. There's no, the bad teams are never just phoning it in. There's no going for a draft pick. It's like the end of the NBA season. It's kind of like, who cared about the last 2 weeks? It's like they're just kind of fighting for some seeding, and it's like, who cares? There's a bunch of teams and games that don't matter. This is like, the worst team in the league are playing the best team in the league, and it's an absolute barn burner of a game because these teams are fighting to like make $150 million if they're able to stay up in the Premier League. So I love it. It makes the entire season completely interesting, and I don't know how we can make that happen here, but I would like to.
Is the parity in soccer just so much closer than American sports? You would know better than me.
I don't think so. I mean, it still very much has that any given Sunday feel as football does. But it's just like, imagine if there's the owners are constantly on the hot seat because it's not like the David Teppers of the world in the NFL that can just put out a dog shit program for years and like have nothing happen. But it's like, all right, David Tepper, you're just like, you can just kind of phone it in because the Panthers are still going to make you $1 billion this year. Imagine if the Panthers like went 2-14. It's like, all right, you're actually going down to, you have to play in the Ivy League now. Like you have to play against Harvard and Cornell. And like, now Alabama is, now has this $150 million TV deal that you no longer have because you didn't care.
But I guess what I'm saying is like, but like we can barely find like, I don't know, 12 good quarterbacks in the NFL. And now if you like, are you saying your idea would be to relegate like within the 30 teams into like 2 leagues, or open this up to, that there's like an Albany professional football team, hopefully not run by Antonio Brown?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's like the athlete pool is significantly larger in soccer because in American football,
I guess what I meant.
Yeah,
we're pretty much we're fishing in a pool of 300 million people in America compared to the soccer leagues all over the world that are that have everybody else in the world to go from.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's like that's pretty much the sport that they play. It's not like, are you a football guy? Are you a basketball guy? Are you a baseball guy? Like it's that's the sport where that's the most famous, where they make the most money, so the most people in the world play it. Obviously, I think it would be much different. It would never be able to happen. It's like it would be a systemic thing. Like this is just what they've done for hundreds of years to be able to make it like this. Baseball is the closest, in my opinion, to being able to do that because they have those multiple tiered leagues in the U.S. already, where like it really just depends on who the money, where the money is. But if they were able to create a good second league of football, like, I mean, obviously you can't, there's 6 good quarterbacks in the world right now, which,
Right.
is kind of impossible. But it's just the thought process of like that these teams, that there's an actual like repercussion for putting out a terrible team, I feel like needs to happen. And these players care. Like these players, if your team gets relegated, you're making a significant amount less money, or you have to move. Like they're going to trade you to maybe another country. Like it's wild.
I think you could get away with it I was going to say, I think in the NBA and baseball you could. I think in football it's like there is already such a like a lack of blue chip talent. Not like that they're not, but it's so much harder to like, I don't know, succeed at the NFL level. But I think in the NBA, like imagine if more of those I think the NBA game would just evolve into more of like a college type game, which might actually be more fun.
Yeah.
You'd have like one star guy on these teams versus 3. The problem the Phoenix Suns are having right now is there's only one basketball and you got 3 guys who just want to have the ball. Yeah. I think I think you could do that with the NBA and Major League Baseball. There are so many good pitchers in the AAAs and the same thing with hitters. It's like, it seems like those leagues are deep enough. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. It's just, because obviously whatever's going on with the A's, like, and the White Sox would not be going on. Because this is not just a cash cow. It's like we're going to be shitty enough until they move us to Vegas and we can make billions there. It's like, oh, you want to be shitty enough? Now you have to go play the Albany Diamond Dogs.
Yeah. Hey, all right. Let's send him somewhere else. Rebecca Lobo already got us enough. Albany's a great city.
Well, go changing gears here to something that might that is actually happening, and these billionaires can't stop us from enjoying the NBA playoffs. Are in full swing, have been completely exciting. And honestly, for Sarah, I just want to rip the Band-Aid off for you. I do feel like I owe you an apology.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I have for the listeners that aren't in our group chat, the Sixers were up, what were they up 15 in the first half of that play-in game?
Yes.
I mean, they were
very hard. A hard mush.
And I mushed you so hard. I texted, I said, the Knicks are going to have to play the Heat. This is going to happen again. The Heat are going to rip the Knicks' heart out. And then from that moment on, they got completely crushed by the Sixers. I mean, they were able to win the next game, but Jimmy Butler tore his knee, and now they are just getting absolutely throttled by the Celtics.
Yeah. Yeah. It all happened very fast. It looked bad, then it looked good, and now it's bad, and now it's over. The season is over. I don't even want to talk about that series because there's just no way. I'm jumping ahead here because I had this at the end, I think, because I was trying to go in order. But there's no way that he can pull this off without Jimmy Butler. Even with Jimmy Butler, this was a tall task. The Celtics team is very good. I hate it. Positives are we're seeing some good stuff from other guys on the Heat stepping up in his absence, but no one can get it together all on the same day. Tyler Hero was incredible, in their first win to make it into the playoffs, and then Jaime Jaquez has been stepping up as well, which has been nice to see, even a little action from Duncan Robinson at times, and Bam's been playing great, but I mean, it's just they don't have enough like strong key player weapons, and to get like 2 or 3 people to put up points on any one given night together is just not going to happen. They might scrape out a win against the Celtics if like the Celtics take a night to like lay off the gas a little bit here, maybe. Otherwise, I do feel like a sweep is very likely, unfortunately.
If the Celtics miss a flight, maybe.
Yeah, that too. Flu,
late night
virus circulating around, something along those lines.
That's a good point, Mike. Yeah, maybe you got to. We got to maybe. Yeah, we open up a serious bar tab down in Miami and try to get the Celtics. Just that have them to have themselves an evening. But yeah, it's the Celtics are just
14.5 point dogs right now. Can they cover? Can they cover?
No, don't put me in this.
I want to bet it so bad.
Don't ask me that.
You guys didn't support me when after I totally knew this was gonna go. Like after the initial playing game, I'm like, oh my god, Tyler Hero went off, almost had a triple double. I think he was at like 9 rebounds. And then following the first game against the Celtics, I messaged you guys and I'm like, talk me out of Tyler Hero double double for plus 600. Mike supported it and was like, or no, Sasha, you supported it. Yeah. Mike did not respond.
I said nothing. I didn't know where you were getting the other double.
Either.
I was like, has he ever gotten a double-double? Like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Tyler Hero.
I was just like, he went off. I knew it was such a recency bias. I said it in the message. Like, all the flags were there, and I was pointing out the flags, but I pushed past them, ignored it. He played bad. I feel like I was a jinx for that. And ultimately, it all still goes back to Sasha mushing them against the 76ers. So I'm just going to pinpoint it back to that and hold this against you until next year.
I'm much easier scapegoat.
Didn't I text you guys with a bet and like 2 legs of it was all about Duncan Robinson and then he didn't play?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the Heat. Ever since I said they were one of my 4 title contenders, they've proceeded to like stick me up at a bank and just take all the money out of my pocket. So thanks a lot.
Well, moving through the teams on our podcast, Mike, how are your Warriors doing?
Not all right. This has been it went out like with a fizzle, right? In with a bang, out with a fizzle. That's it, man. I was going back, like just listening to stuff about different dynasties and stuff, and there's never really a good ending to this. Like they had a 10-year run, which is incredible. And I think if you fast forward, 15, 20 years from now, or even like when these guys are going into the Hall of Fame, like looking back, it's very hard to accomplish what they did. I think the last run like this would be the Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal Lakers, or the Duncan Spurs. So like, and those are teams we're going to remember when we're old. It's just, it was really sad to see Clay go out with no points. I still think there's a shot he's going to come back at a lower price, because I do think Klay Thompson, like, I think their friend, like those guys want to play together, but you never really know what they're thinking. 0 points is crazy. He had a really bad, everything has to end. Andrew Wiggins completely let them down after the finals, but he got him a title. James Wiseman, that was their like watershed moment. Like, you have this number 2 pick, you can really land it. But that was like the COVID draft, and kind of everybody at the top. I think it was Anthony Edwards went 1, which they weren't going to get him. But I mean, they're like, oh, you could have had LaMelo Ball. Well, excuse me, I don't think that would have been like really good for the Warriors either.
Yeah.
I don't really love Kuminga. I feel like he flashes, but he's inconsistent. Chris Paul is going to keep playing, but I mean, I think he has been washed up for 2 years now.
Yeah, it's
a bummer.
It's weird to watch these things happen because you're still so used to them being so dominant. But I do think that, I mean, they're obviously going to go down as one of the greatest teams of all time. I would say, aside from maybe that little spurt of KD stuff, they were probably the most likable dynasty in most of professional sports. Like, I don't really know anybody that really hated them aside from the whole KD thing. And I guess some of Draymond being a little Draymond, but I think that how likable Steph is still, kind of trumps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Steph's going to go down as a top 10 NBA player all time. And that was one of those things that, like, I mean, I think he's revolutionized the game of basketball more than I think he's changed basketball more than anybody since Michael Jordan in terms of his effect on the game.
Like, I heard
people will say Kobe or LeBron, but I mean, Steph Curry totally reignited the sport, although it was popular, like really reignited it again. And he's a really likable superstar. He doesn't have any sort of bad things on his record. I mean, he's awesome. He's like he's probably, I mean, Michael Jordan's my favorite basketball player ever, but I think Steph Curry's like my favorite NBA player to ever watch, or prime Shaq.
Yeah,
freaks.
It's crazy. I wish I could attribute this to whoever said it, but I heard this once and it's always stuck with me, that Steph Curry made the NBA incredible and made every other level of basketball almost impossible to watch.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to jack up these threes, but it's like you're missing the point that like he is a generational, once in a lifetime talent.
Yeah, nobody else can make them at that clip. Yeah, it's always so fun to watch. And I mean, he's still probably going to have a few years in him. I don't know if he's ever going to be the guy that, like, is he going to turn into like a 12, 15-minute a game role player that just like comes on like a Steve Novak and hits threes like until he's 40? Or is he going to retire and go just live on a boat somewhere?
I mean, these guys, their physical fitness and the conditioning and stuff, I think it's going to be injury dependent. Like if he stays healthy, I could see him having an elevated type, like Ray Allen type, Reggie Miller end of career, where it's like the problem with Steph is he's smaller, he's he's gotten bigger physically, but his whole game is like working around those screens and, really moving. And I think as he loses that, it's going to be around who he's playing with.
Yeah.
Because like you see the drop off in point guards once they lose their athleticism is like dramatic. The fact that Chris Paul is still able to be an NBA player right now is amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's credit to him because it's really hit really hard. So
it's true.
I think it's injury dependent, but like LeBron's going to play till he's 42 years old.
He's a freak. But that is a good transition into the Lakers Nuggets series. He has looked just about as good as I would think any 75-year-old man could possibly look. It's absolutely unbelievable how well he's playing, but the team around him just can't beat the Nuggets. The Nuggets are too good. That's
pretty much it. My exact notes is what I had. It's just the matchup is not there. Maybe they'll, squeak one out, kind of same thing. But I mean, the Nuggets are playing very well. I just don't see a way for it to happen for the Lakers to get past them.
They keep getting so close. I mean, it needed a buzzer beater last night to be able to push it to 2-0 in Denver. It's like, can they do anything at home? Like, is being in LA, is that going to do that much for him? Anthony Davis is still great. I just like the role players on that team. I don't think I trust because I mean, I love Jokic. I love Murray. Got a lot of respect for Michael Porter Jr. with all the off the court stuff that's going on. I think he's handled everything pretty incredible. It seems like all of his brothers are just like, I don't know what
is he hitting his overs?
Actually,
should we look into that?
I'd be more worried about the unders.
Right. I feel like we should have somebody checking in on that every game. Just make sure nothing fishy's going on.
See if he's what's his name? Jonte he's suspended. He's officially removed from the NBA, but it's not. I haven't seen any sports books that told him he can't come back.
Yeah. I think Anthony Davis just isn't a dog.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's Anthony Davis needs to be almost the younger, more aggressive, game-winning type of star, and he's not. I on that game-winning shot, he got it right. Like Murray banged it right in his face, and then Davis is like fumbling over to the bench and like, oh, my leg. It's just one of these, like, he just looks very like frail, like Joel Embiid, and like also just doesn't give off that high energy that you would get from I use like Shaq, or like I know Tim Duncan wasn't high energy, but he wasn't soft. Like I feel like AD is soft and that team is soft, and LeBron's not exactly the type to like, he was his aggression was through his physical like dominance, and I don't know if he's not flying above the rim multiple times a game anymore. Although he did have a sick block, chase down block, but I think that's the problem with the Lakers. It's AD.
Yeah, I feel like I get caught up, and I always hear all the talking heads on TV and all the athletes that have played with him and against him. Like they're just effusive with praise, being like, "This is the most, he's so talented and huge, and he's incredible." And I feel like I'm just convinced into doing that. But like, there are very few games that I watch where I completely agree with you, where I feel that he's that player that I hear these, everybody that plays with him and like Shaq and Stephen A. and all these guys that are like, he's the greatest power forward aside from Tim Duncan. And I'm like, okay, he's really good.
No.
But then I watch him like, he's not taking, I haven't seen him take over a game and I don't know how long.
Yeah, the only go back to when he was on the Pelicans. They swept the Trailblazers, and Anthony Davis had a stat line. I wish I had it in front of you. That was like, it was like the most incredible 4 games I've ever seen, like out of a big man, maybe out of any big man. And then I was like, oh my God, like here he is, the brow, and then he just has kind of been like this, like. I don't know. Like I get his stats, but like stats in the NBA or anybody can get stats. He's very talented, but he's not he's just not a game changer. Like it's still LeBron versus everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, against the Trailblazers in the playoffs. Oh no, this is again there's also a series in here with him on the Lakers. Against the Pelicans here. He went for 35, 22, 28, and 47 in those 4 games. Yeah, so he was 35 points, 14 rebounds, 22 and 12, 28 and 11, and 47 and 10 in a 4-game stretch. That's pretty damn good.
Multiple blocks. He was everywhere. It was the most energy. he just doesn't play with enough energy. I feel the same thing with like Joel Embiid. It's like Joel Embiid like leads the league and like he needs to take a breather.
Yeah, that's a great transition because I would love to talk about the Knicks being up 2-0, and I completely agree with you about Embiid. I don't know how much of it's injury. Honestly, watching him out there, it's a little bit of like I mean, obviously, I feel like more like Edie got the Embiid treatment. I feel like it's kind of stupid to say that that he's getting the ED treatment, but it's just like anybody guarding him, he goes a first shot and gets touched, like he's just on the free throw line. But I just feel like they're just pumping him full of Xanax and Vicodin and be like, go out there and play, man. And he's just kind of humping around. I don't know if it's the injury. I don't know if it's him being out of shape from being out for so long. Not that he was ever, I don't think his cardiovascular endurance was ever one of his like top 5 greatest assets. But it's so frustrating to play against just such an animal like that. He's clearly so talented. He doesn't miss free throws. He's just huge. He gets to the free throw line all the time. Maxey's been really good, but we're up 2-0. I mean, I'm a little worried about the way that we're playing. Brunson has not had a great Brunson type game yet, like the way that he was having on the back half of the season. But he's still putting up some numbers. I think he was a leading scorer in the second game. But our role players have played amazing. I'm a little worried about just the way that Tibbs coaches, as always. I mean, Josh Hart is unbelievable, but playing 48 minutes is
48 minutes. I was hoping
stupid.
You were going to say that. That's
stupid.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Love it.
What do we do? Like, I love it when we win. I love it. I'm like, well, the guys are just in it. They're ready. They're fighting hard. It's the best. But as soon as we lose a game or somebody gets injured, it's like very quickly the stupidest thing.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I think if I were you, I would be feeling good with where they're at. I mean, I think you're seeing it as maybe a potential negative that Brunson hasn't been at the top of his game. But I mean, the fact that they're winning these close, well-fought battles with him playing mediocre at best, I think is reassuring if he can get it going soon. Because, obviously, I think it's more fun basketball to watch for everyone also when I think it's just a team effort, these guys stepping up. Like, it's been incredible to watch Josh Hart just like have this, insanity run when you're not expecting it, as a fan who's not specific to, or partial to either team. So I think you guys are in a good place. It does feel a little Knicks energy to like have this end up being a close series or maybe even a potential loss. But I think at this point, sitting up 2-0, they're in a good spot.
Where would you guys both set the line at on Embiid and Maxey staying completely healthy and playing full games for the rest of the series?
Oh.
Yeah, I think if the Knicks win game 3, I think Embiid towards the end of that gets a convenient injury. Not so much Maxey. I mean, Maxey, I don't know. He feels like he plays every game.
Yeah.
Embiid will find a way to dip out. Sasha, I do think it's going to be a series. I think, the series starts when you win one on the road. I think the 76ers will take care of business. And I would be shocked if this is like 4-1. Like, I think this is going to be like 4-2 or 4-3. Just because the 2 games at the Garden have been good, but that's why you have home court advantage. I don't think they can come into New York and win. And I think the Knicks will win in 6, 4-2. That would be my guess. But again, you're right. Embiid's a ticking time bomb. He doesn't look healthy. What else has he got to do all day? It beats me. But he can't seem to get I get, I'm not an NBA player, but it feels like there's some guys that they can come back and their motor's right up. He's not one of them.
You have a tinfoil hat on that blinking video where his eyes aren't working?
Send it to me. I haven't seen it. Wow.
Please.
You're gonna love it. Send it immediately. And you guys talk. I'll watch it.
See if I can find that and get that over. But yes, Sarah, I'm cautiously leaning your way with if we can win without a full-on Brunson, I think that can be a good thing. But obviously, I think Vegas and the people, kind of expect that with the the line for Game 3 in Philly being -4.5 for Philly at that time.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I think the
disrespect.
I was just going to say that.
The Stephen A.
The disrespect, Sasha.
But I'm excited. It's been fun as shit to watch. Getting the double bang. Gotten it. It's like even I was 8 points in 27 seconds. It was absolutely unbelievable. But in significantly less exciting series, Cavs Magic is I mean, who cares?
Ugh.
I guess
Yeah.
No,
it's hard to watch.
I have no comments. Haven't watched a second of it.
I bet Orlando. I bet Orlando twice.
Oh,
Oh,
stop
yeah.
doing that.
I'm 0 for everything since the playing games, guys.
Were
It's
we
bad.
getting some? We getting some shades of the March Madness last year?
That's what I literally was telling myself. I'm like, remember last March. Remember the Ides of March. You just survived March Madness. Do not burn it all to hell in the NBA. It's not been good. I don't know why. I like Orlando, but they don't want to score any points.
Yeah, I like Banchero too. It's like I was betting his like overs on a bunch of props and stuff throughout the season. It's like the team was good. It's just like this, very good defensive teams, not very good offensive teams, both playing each other.
Yeah.
is not so fun.
And Donovan Mitchell's halfway out the door. It's just so weird. It's such a weird. Like, that team is very good. I've always just not been partial to getting into Cleveland because when the best player is like rumored to be leaving almost definitely, it's like they usually don't go on a great run.
Yeah, agreed. I just I a little bit of me was a little more hopeful that was the side of the bracket that the Knicks were on, because if the Knicks were able to get through, I would feel very confident against either of those teams.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we are going to have to play the winner of Pacers and Bucks, which, again, it's a 1-1 series. So I'm hoping, I guess, for a rock fight if the Knicks are able to beat I don't want, like, I don't know if you guys heard the Philly announcer that, with a minute and a half left, basically said, all you got to do is win one on the road, and we did that. Like, check, like, box checked. And then the Knicks were able to come back and do that. So not counting the chickens before they're hatched here. But if Giannis comes back, I obviously don't think this is as much of a series, but I mean, Pacers are fun to watch. I do like both of those teams. I think they're both very good. Does anybody know if Giannis is coming back, or what is there an official date? I haven't seen anything.
I think from what I thought, it depends on how long the series ends up going. Like, it's unclear if it'll be the end of this.
Okay.
I don't like either of these teams.
Yeah.
No? You don't like
No.
Halliburton? I think Halliburton's fun.
I liked Halliburton had a thigh injury and missed a bunch of games, and I think he rushed back, and he really hasn't been as at the level he was in the first half of the season. I think he's going to be like an incredible player. I think he's on Team USA, isn't he? Like the players, everybody knows. I just don't think he's at full strength. And Pascal Siakam, he's scoring 1 million points, and he's an NBA champion. I don't know. It's just not. I don't like either of these teams. I just want it to end up being Knicks Celtics so badly.
Well, I've watched a lot of Knicks Celtics games this year, and none of them, except for one, went well for me. So I don't know. I'm hoping that somebody else can at least, maybe show some sort of weakness of the Celtics. But Sarah, I'm not totally confident in you guys being able to do that.
Nor am I.
Can you cover? Can you cover?
Please.
We'll put a pin in that.
Speaking of other teams that are kind of an enigma to me, the Mavs and the Clippers, I don't know who's going to come out of this series. They both have star power. I don't really care about I don't feel confident in any of their other role players, but they both feel like a team. If they get hot at the right time, they can kind of beat anybody.
I just they both play basketball I don't like to watch. Like, for some reason,
Yes.
I know Luka is incredible, but just watching him, it just dribble around, it just makes me so angry. It just reminds me of the kid on the annoying travel basketball team who would put their head down and just dribble, and you're like, oh, here goes the black hole again. Let me just stand off on the 3-point key with my hands on my hips because the ball's not coming to me. And it just he puts up great numbers. He's a great basketball player, but I just hate watching him play, and Clippers aren't much better, honestly. So these series, I really could care less who comes out of them. I think you are right. Maybe they could be a frisky team to beat anyone if they get hot at the right time, but I don't know.
Yeah, it just feels like if role players start hitting threes and the stars get, if Kawhi can do old Kawhi stuff, if Luka just continues to, be incredible, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. Can't miss, it's wow, is that team actually dangerous? But at the end of the day, I feel like when the pressure's on, neither of them can win a game.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for Russ. I love Russell Westbrook. Feel like he's taken a lot of shit in his career, and I would love to see them win. They're one of my 4 teams that could get to the finals, so I'm high on the Clippers.
We'll root for him for that. We'll keep Blazel's
I
best
want
bet.
Russ to succeed. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like him too. I feel like he has gotten the short end of the stick, and people put a lot of pressure on him.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously, his style of basketball was kind of, a little bit, ball hog annoying ish. So it's like, I guess I get that part of it, but I like him better as a tangential piece as opposed to this is the Thunder, and we're building the whole plane out of the black box.
Yeah.
We're building the whole thing out of Russell Westbrook. I'm like,
there's a guy who comes out and plays full energy no matter what. Every second he's on the court. I love players like that. And he also has taken a reserve role. He took reduced roles before this and has never bitched about, like, this is a guy who was like, he averaged triple doubles, and I know it was like that season was crazy and he was being set up for it, and it didn't lead to success. But now we're playing in a league where everybody's doing it, and it doesn't lead to tons of success either. I don't know. I feel like he's been a model athlete, and in terms of he's aging gracefully in this league, and like, and he gets called. All they do is call him Russell Westbrook. There's plenty of people who can play and can't shoot. Russell Westbrook leaves it on the court.
Yeah,
I love that.
Always got to respect the guy, especially not only on offense too, but it's always Trump playing hard on defense on both sides of the ball. It's always exciting. And speaking of that,
too hard on defense. That's his only. So he should maybe like stop going for every steal and maybe just try to get in front of your guy. But all right. See, now we're picking on Russell Westbrook. See, God, that's how it starts. Damn.
Speaking of guys that are leaving it all on the field that are making me love a team, Anthony Edwards is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
I told you before the series.
You told me before the season.
I told Sasha to put his house on Timberwolves over the Suns.
and we certainly did, because, the Suns stink.
Yeah, they're bad.
I hate it.
They're bad.
I used to like the Suns. Like I when I was unsure of my NBA fandom team, I was like, maybe I'll be the Phoenix Suns, like likable team. But then I realized they were always playing after my bedtime, being on the West Coast, so that was why I kicked them out and chose the Heat instead, East Coast team.
What year was this? What year?
Circulating not long ago. I was not very. I didn't have a lot of allegiance to NBA teams. Probably over like 3 to 4 years ago. I'm not a KD fan. It's not because of KD. But now that Grayson Allen is on the Suns, which I just totally missed that until this playoffs, I hate Grayson Allen. Like, just looking at him, he has to be the most annoying person to look at, like, an athlete-wise. And I feel like him in the Suns uniform bothers me. I just, everything about them, they're not a likable team. I was already feeling like that. And then actually after watching them play, which I admittedly haven't done much of this year, they're trash. Like, they're not fun to watch. It's bad. It's even worse basketball than Luka right now, I think. Just like that single, because now it's just multiples of him trying to be cohesive on the floor, but not really trying. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like coaching is a little at fault here. They're not managing the personalities they have on the team and the types of players they have by any means.
No.
Well, they went and traded for Bradley Beal, who makes $700 million, and he's played like he's a number 3 on a team with a point guard. Maybe he would be. That was a terrible trade from the moment they made it. And you hate on Grayson Allen. He's like, I think he's got the number 1 3-point shooting percentage in the NBA this year.
I was devastated to hear that yesterday.
Made him like $80 million.
He's been unbelievable.
I was like, why is he in this whole game? Like, he literally was doing nothing. Like, and I'm like,
guy's wet from 3.
Yeah, apparently so. But I mean, that's so Duke. I just can't. I think I'm on it.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Devin Booker's going to look good in a Knicks jersey, and KD's going to be looking great back on Oklahoma City. So.
Oh my God, do not. I don't know if OKC fans are welcoming him back. We'll have to get my brother's opinion on that.
He just did that commercial with Chat, narrated it. Can you put the city on your tiny shoulders, Chat?
That would be wild, because I do love the Thunder
back.
Right
He's
now.
He's coming home. I want all 3 of them to come back. Bring back Harden and Westbrook too.
That would be a wild team.
Where's Serge Ibaka?
I think he's back in the Sudan or something.
He's probably only still like 28.
Yeah. He's just like running a blood diamond mine. But yeah, the Pelicans, especially without Zion, I think the Thunder will hopefully just continue to roll. I think that they're really young, really fun. The West is just tough. It feels like they're a year away team. They need to like kind of get there, get some experience, get their feet under them a little bit, because they are very exciting, and I expect them to be good for a while.
Yeah, 100%.
Love them. So
I will just say SGA is they are the number one seed in the West for a reason, and they're a team that has gotten ahead early and been successful early, and they have a team that they could measure up to, which is the young Oklahoma City Thunder that went to the NBA Finals against the Heat against LeBron.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Nuggets are. I know right now they're kicking the shit out of the Lakers, but Minnesota, Oklahoma City, and the Clippers. I think the West is way more of. It's going to be. There's going to be some surprises.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think Minnesota might go. God, I think Minnesota might make it to. And it was recent. Listen, I'm 0 for 100 in the playoffs. Don't
calm down over it.
Sorry, Minnesota, you're out.
They're used to that. They're pretty comfortable with losing in heartbreaking fashion. But that was a great NFL or a great NBA playoffs recap. We got a lot of fun sports left in the till. We still got a lot of good days. I love these days. Like we don't watch enough hockey, but it's even just great throwing after between one of these games or whatever at halftime, throwing on one of these playoff NHL games as well. Just having meaningful basketball and NHL on at the same time is always so much fun.
Oh yes.
Do you guys have YouTube TV?
Yes.
Did you see that YouTube TV has they have the quad screen now with the 2 NBA games and the 2 hockey games on?
Dude, we feel like you're in a sports
Sick.
bar.
The multi-view is pretty crazy.
That is cool. That's it.
Shout out YouTube.
Showing it to somebody for the first time, I showed that to my dad, and I think he thought I was a wizard. But moving on, NFL draft coming up. So obviously a little bit of preview. We'll have more to break down next week after it all happens. But this just feels exciting. It's good to see the this is the time when I can get back excited about the Giants, and I feel like the Giants can be at the top of the board because they're one of the top picks. Because I don't necessarily see us being at the top of any sort of leaderboard moving on. But it's time to get excited. So Sarah, I want to lead it off with you. How are you feeling about your Cowboys? Not been a lot of news going into this, so maybe the Cowboys can make some news now.
Well, trust tree, I'm not very excited for the draft this year. This, to be honest, might be the worst I have ever felt going into an NFL season. I'm just feeling very, very down bad about the Cowboys this year. And it's still maybe some hangover of how the season ended, lack of off-season moves. Now, Dak with the contracts, negotiations is coming out saying, well, if I'm not in Dallas next year, it's not the end of the world sort of thing. The hardball sort of things they play, which unsure on that anyway, how I feel. Yeah, a very sad. Here we go. But it's just been nothing great. They don't have as of now. They don't have great draft picks. So I'm like, what's going to come of all this? I really have no idea. From what I've seen, just trying to look at some mock drafts. Everyone is saying the Cowboys are one of the hardest teams to predict in their mock drafts this year because just no one really knows what their game plan is. I think they're rebuilding. We all kind of think that at this point, but it's Jerry Jones. He's known for just making drastic, irrational decisions spontaneously. So who knows where we're going to come of this? I mean, they have a lot of gaps to fill. So I just kind of I'm so cynical right now, but I feel like coming out of this, there's going to be gaps that need to be filled. I'm not going to be feeling great no matter what they do coming out of this. They definitely need to replace some big guys on the offensive line. I mean, losing Tyron Smith, a solid rock at left tackle, that has to be their priority, and I think that's where they'll go. They have the 24th pick in the first round, so I think that's where they'll be going with that. Running back is still in need, which I don't think they have to go crazy for that. As we know, you can get some very solid backs later on in the draft, so I hope they do that. Linebacker, they're in need. They lost their center. So there's a lot of moving parts here. Not really great positions are super fun to dive deep in and determine who. I don't watch enough college football to really know who they should be going for in these positions that I can say with confidence. So that's where I'm at. I think all the other Cowboy fans can commiserate. You guys are probably freaking loving this over there as a Giants fan. But I'm going to go ahead and get in front of it. This is not our year. I think every other year I've been saying, this is our year, as all Cowboys fans do. And this year isn't it? It's not.
Is there any shot that they just don't even make their pick?
They just don't show up to the draft.
Yeah. They're just the clock runs out and they're we couldn't decide. Be patient.
Yeah.
We're gonna get him next round.
Yeah, are you picturing Mike McCarthy's face as this happens? Because I am. Like him just like sitting there.
Hey, the camera cuts to him and
Yeah.
he's got a big bowl of chili. He's getting ready.
Yeah.
He's ready
Yeah.
for the NFL season.
Yeah, and then like they're just
Ready.
Jerry Jones and his sons are just like bickering in the background, like playing tug of war of what should happen, and then the clock
falls
expires.
asleep.
I can totally see it. I wouldn't be surprised.
What happens? Is it like on the like on fantasy or something? Will they just like auto draft a kicker? Is that like what
That's like the one
Justin
position we don't
Tucker's
need
on the
too.
Cowboys.
yeah.
It's like the first year we've had a good kicker, and here we are. So I don't even want that.
Well,
I
he wasn't that good either at the end of the year.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yep.
There's kick me while I'm down here, apparently.
We jinxed them.
Listen, everything could change tomorrow night, Sarah. Breathe.
I know.
Life is
Yeah,
good.
this could get amazing. They start making trades. I mean, you saw the notes Jerry Jones was taking. He's got plans, baby.
No.
The scribblings of a schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost. I don't hate being quiet before a draft because then you can kind of convince yourself that like, ooh, maybe there's something going on behind the scenes we don't know about. Maybe they got some like big plan that's all like staying. They're keeping it close to the chest. Because I kind of feel the opposite about the Giants. I'm seeing them involved in every. Are they going to trade up the Giants and the Vikings? I in the third pick for Drake May, and then J.J. McCarthy's unbelievable. And then Mike, you're going to love this, but I was seeing all these front offices that they go, the Giants are thinking about moving up to the third pick for Drake May because the front office that basically the New York Bills all got together and they see a lot of similarities between
Say his name.
Josh Allen. All the similarities physically and everything, and they think that they can do it again with him. And I'm like, it's what they say, or if you ever watch Shark Tank, they're always like the death of your sales pitch, and when they're like, it's like the blank of it's like the Uber of this, like when you're trying to emulate some other company, or when you're trying to do something, you're trying to relive the glory days, or just like reinvent the wheel. There, it's like no, it's like I don't care how tall he is. He's not Josh Allen. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. Why don't we just try to find a quarterback, or try to find a player that is like somebody who fits your system that you think that you can build around? Like you just paid an insane amount of money to a very mediocre quarterback. So like if we're gonna cut bait, I mean, I guess let's cut bait. But I don't know if Drake May is the guy. I don't know if it seems like everybody's saying Caleb Williams is just a clear number one pick. I feel like I need to see more of him playing football because there's been way too much of him just on social media that makes me feel that he's not like a guy. Like he seems like a weird Gen Z guy that I just like. It just all seems so weird. I'm like, how is this guy the number one pick? He's just like going to Japan with his girlfriend before, he's not.
They want him to be Patrick Mahomes.
But Patrick Mahomes is like,
they're trying to make these guys into the other guys.
It's a good way to sell these guys. It's like, I guess it's how NFL guys sell them to the business people that are writing the checks. And they're like, the dumb business guy who doesn't know football is like, I want Patrick Mahomes. Can I have Patrick Mahomes? They're like, well, this is him. They're like, okay. So maybe that's how they're selling it. I don't know, Drake. But I wish I had some more faith in the Giants front office to draft, because at this time I don't really. At the heart of it, I feel like there's a lot of really good O linemen in this draft from what I hear. We need to take an O lineman in the first round, and then there's probably a receiver or some sort of, a running back. There's got to be some sort of talent flash position that's going to be, in that second round draft pick that we have, where I think we're at the 47th or 15th pick of the second round. There's got to be some sort of skill position guy there that we can take, and I would be thrilled with that.
Yeah, there's a ton of receivers, ton of O linemen, decent amount of quarterbacks, and I mean the defensively is like kind of like the weakness of the draft from everything they're saying. But yeah, if you need talent on the outside and on your O line, you should be able to find it.
Let's hope we're not just going to trade off 1 million draft picks and miss out on all these good offensive linemen and receivers to get a quarterback that may or may not be any good. But
yeah,
Mike,
listen, guys, there's only one Josh Allen. I'm sorry, what?
You're like, I'm just echoing in my head at the moment. But then at the 28th pick of the draft, the Buffalo Bills select.
We will not be picking at 28, guys.
Trading, getting out of.
We're moving on up.
Moving up.
Yeah, I that's my guess. my predictions. Listen, first of all, and I know like you read mock drafts, and I don't know how much you guys read, but I really don't because it's like the most ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is like trying to pick a 30-team parlay, except at any point the teams could change.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like I picked the Yankees over the Athletics, but now it's not the Athletics, it's the Houston Astros. Like it's ridiculous. It's so I mean, I like to more hear about the rankings and just the breakdowns. But I think the Bills I think we're going for one of these wide receivers. I don't think we'll get into Malik Neighbors or Harrison or Roma Dunze, but I think we'll get in that second tier receivers. I really don't know, and I don't want to be too. My prediction is we will be trading for either T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton, or Brandon Ayuk, or if you're listening out there, Brandon Bean, try to get DK Metcalf. That's the guy. But I think realistically, one of those three guys we're going to be able to get for Sutton, maybe a fourth rounder, and I think Higgins. I mean, if it's Higgins, maybe it's probably a second rounder, and Ayuk, maybe that's a first rounder, just because of the numbers he put up. I think we're doing that, and then keeping our first rounder. We have 11 picks, packaging that with some other shit to move up from probably 28 to the teens, and getting another guy.
You just want to see him
what the
do
hell
something.
Do we know?
Just see him do something.
I don't care what they do. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love whatever we do.
You are.
And I'm wait till week 1, and then you can get sad me. Happy Mike goes till September. It's gonna be
I like
great.
Happy Mike. Well, in good news, right before we started recording, T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson did just officially request the trade. So, I mean, it doesn't quite move like the NBA does, where basically they say that and then it happens. But I feel like if that news is getting out there, he wants out, and Bills would be a lovely place for him to reside.
I think T. Higgins went out and then went to go practice with Joe Burrow and saw that surgically repaired arm just didn't heal right.
But that maybe.
By the way, speak about the nerve of FanDuel and DraftKings to have the Bengals with a better odds to win the Super Bowl over the Bills. I haven't checked that for a while. Periodically, I like to do and just see how high the Bills are, and I happen to look today, and we're plus 1,300. So before I go to sleep tonight, I will be putting a modestly large wager on that because I think that will be before the draft because I think that will be the highest our odds are for the remainder of the year. And they have the Bengals at like the fifth best odds with its 49ers. It's 40. I'll tell you right now. 49ers
Chiefs.
obviously Chiefs. Baltimore, I believe, is third. The Bengals. Hang on, this is great radio. Hang on.
Good radio.
Hold on, everybody. This isn't radio. NFL.
Who cares?
This isn't radio.
Any guesses? Anybody? Bueller. Got it.
So,
Here we go.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the Cincinnati Bengals. I watched Joe Burrow walk back, throw the ball, and leave for the season on a how would you feel on non-contact knee injuries? What happened? What broke inside of his arm that he throws a football with?
Was it a knee or was it like a wrist thing? I thought there was it was a wrist.
No, it was a wrist.
Yeah, but it was from throwing the ball.
I think it was a UCL. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was
I don't know.
It was a UTI?
Yeah, it was a UTI. The longest UTI in history. I think it was a
has
UCL.
been prone to that since college because he was part of it. Yeah, UCL. Well, if you get that in baseball, that's pretty bad.
You come back stronger. Tommy John.
Yeah. I don't know. Tommy John in baseball, yes. But in football, I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's a UCL shouldn't be getting hurt in football.
It's a scapholunate. Sorry, scapholunate. Not UCL.
Scapholunate.
You guys know. You know.
If you say that one more time, all the stuff in my room is going to start floating.
It actually takes usually about 18 months to heal from it.
Oh.
So it hasn't been 18 months. Let me tell you that much.
Bet at your own. I guess actually we have the same odds as the Bengals, but they put them higher up on the list.
It's by alphabetical.
Nope. Bills, Bengals. I know that, but they have the Lions next. Detroit.
I was talking by I guess the line. It's not by the city, by the name. I don't know how to do it. And I don't work there, but it sounds like FanDuel should have a resident doctor on staff, so you should be able to give them information like that so they can set some lines.
Yeah,
I'm available. I'm available if they need me.
What is this scaparella? What does that affect? That's in your wrist?
I think
It's
the chicken
Yep.
scarpiello, I think, is a dish from northern Italy.
Yeah. And I know, look, the way they have to pound that wrist out to get it nice and tender.
That's the
That's
stuff.
going to take some time to heal.
Mhm.
But yes, here the Happy Mike is it glows eternal during the off season, but he'll never not hate on other AFC teams.
Yeah, and they somehow have the Atlanta Falcons with the 10th best odds to win the Super Bowl. And I had to remember that Kirk Cousins was there. And then I laughed because it's but it's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, right. Like,
Oh, right. He is good, but seriously?
Yeah, you know Kirk Cousins' ability to win in primetime playoff games is incredible.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want to take a small deep dive into teams that I think are fun little but you could place little futures on, Green Bay Packers plus 1,900.
I was expecting them to be high
interesting.
when we were going through.
Los Angeles Rams plus 3,200. I think the NFC is still wide open. They still have Matt Stafford. They got my guy Trey White. And the Colts at plus 5,500.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson coming back. You know I love my boy Shane Steichen. It's been a while since I got to talk about him.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's
After
going to
that, it's a real drop off.
Everyone's going to be talking about the Texans, I think, but I think the real place to look is the Colts. I like the Colts a lot.
I'm gonna bet them to win that division for sure. I wonder if
like
those
that.
division odds are
You
out.
and me both,
But,
buddy.
Hey, and the Cowboys only plus 1,500, Sarah. They're right underneath the Bills. So look at that.
That seems suspicious.
It's just they set people will bet it. People will bet it.
Yeah.
Colts
Yeah.
plus 330 to win the AFC South.
I like it. I
We should
don't know if
text
that's
about that. We should come up with. I want to put together all the ones that we feel sure about only a parlay, and we should post that.
love it.
Not every one because those never work because there's some that we're just not going to know. But I love the Colts, love the Bills.
Well, getting into that with the perfect transition into heat check. So that's a bet that'll pay off in a few months. We want to bet that'll pay off for you this week. We continue to stay hot. Last week, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, Sarah and I both hit, which was a wonderful. And then we're moving into this week. So, Mike, welcome back to the official Heat Checks segment. We want to see what you're feeling this week and how you're going to win us some money.
Well, I'm here to throw some cold water on the heat check. I want to, if we're going for tonight, I'll take the under. Oh boy, this is already making me laugh because this is not how I like to bet. I'll take the under in the Thunder Pelicans 211.5.
Ugh.
I think one of those teams isn't getting to 100.
I don't blame you.
And one of those teams
agree.
is the Pelicans.
Wait, what did you say the line was?
211.5.
I like that. I think that's reasonable.
You want me to stay up late at night to watch
Just to
an
hope
under
they
in the
don't
Pelicans? Yeah. Rude of you. I hate that.
That's the one where you hit your first two legs, you go to bed happy, you wake up, you see that, and you say,
The
"Fuck
surprise.
you, Mike," when you wake up. Yeah.
All right. I like that.
nice.
We can go whatever. I can get on board. I can't have you hit that and me miss it. Sarah, come on. I need you to give me something to perk me up.
Well, I feel like you're not going to like this. I'm going for tomorrow for the people who are maybe late at getting it out. I'm sorry to say 76ers minus 2.5.
Minus
Maybe
2.5.
I'm mushing them.
I got minus
See it as me
4.5.
trying to mush the 76ers for you.
You're taking your
you doing
usual soft
alternate?
line, your alternate line.
Yeah, 4.5 seems like too much. I think it's going to be a 3. I feel like it's going to be a 3-point game. So I did tease it a little bit.
All right. Well, both of you got me very unexcited, and I'm not happy about it. So I need to make everybody some money here, and we're going Nuggets -1 because there's no way that I don't care that they're home now. Fuck the Lakers. The Nuggets are a way better team, and the Nuggets are going to win this game. And also,
Bad
teaser
that
for
I
the
wanna-
people: Knicks +4.5 and over 202.5. Brunson's going to go for 40 in Philly.
Also take Orlando, everybody.
Stop making me watch these games, man.
Orlando -1.5. Just keep taking it. They will not get swept.
I've got this great line on girls softball in South Carolina. Shut up, man. Stop.
Also, the Yankees are playing the Athletics tonight. minus their 1.5 run line. Feel like you should just set it and forget it.
Yeah, I got to do that because they lost that first game.
Pitching.
They lost that first game to the Athletics, which was just embarrassing, getting shut out to the Athletics because the Yankees for some reason can't hit left-handed pitching that like a middle speed throwing left-handed pitching, which is just infuriating. It's like hard throwing lefties we can touch, but for some reason, just like a guy who lives in the mid 80s, high 80s, a lefty, it's like we've never seen played baseball before. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I think that there's no way that we lose this series, so I'm with you on that one.
I just want to quickly ramble about something. I downloaded MLB The Show 24, and I haven't played a baseball video game in I don't know since Derek Jeter was playing. And I don't know if it's my age or the talent of these major league pitchers, but hitting a baseball is really fucking hard.
It's hilarious that downloading the show.
My player and be awesome, and I'm batting like under 100.
Yikes!
It's bad.
Can't even touch the Mendoza line.
Oh, I cannot pick up the difference between off speed and fastballs. I screamed at my television the other day.
Getting old is fun, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I stood up and moved closer and then still struck out. So stay away from that game. They're clearly doing a poor job with development.
Right, it's their fault.
The user.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was Googling to see if everybody else had the same problem.
Any
as
complaints?
Me. And some guy was like, yeah, you know, in my 4 seasons, I've won 2 MVPs. I'm like, ah, damn it.
And I hate that guy. I don't like it. So officially on the Heat Check, we got the Heat Check bets. We have, Mike, what was it? It was 211 on the Pelicans game tonight. We're going under 211. Sarah's taking the 76ers alternate line minus 2.5, and I am taking Nuggets minus 1. And if you're a real one and you want a little extra juice, Knicks plus 4.5 over 202.5. Absolute lock. Love it. We're going to make some money this week, and we're going to see how the rest of these NBA playoffs play out. And then next week we'll be able to come back with a full recap of the NFL draft and all the excitement. Sarah, I got to tell you, I think the Cowboys are going to do something to get you back on the train. They just have to.
I'm sick of you mushing me. Stop.
They're going to make their pick.
They will, I guarantee you, make a pick.
They're going to make a pick.
They will make a pick. I'll come back with a pick. All right.
Nice.
That's about it.
We'll love it. Well, listen, it's good having a band back together. As always, follow us on Instagram. Watch us on YouTube, everywhere. Anywhere you get your podcast, the Heating Up Pod. And don't forget to share with your friends and family. Lots of fun. We're fun all around. We're fun all year round, not just football, but we got lots of stuff going on. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Share, comment, like, subscribe, listen. We love you. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you next week.